I still remember the day she left me. It wasn't stormy, it wasn't dramatic, it was quiet. Almost too quiet. The kind of silence that drowns you more than any scream ever could. We lived in a tiny rented apartment back then. The walls were peeling, the lights flickered, and the air smelled of dampness. But to me, it was still home. Because she was there. At least I thought she was. That evening, I came home to find her suitcase on the bed. My heart dropped. She wasn't crying. She wasn't even emotional. She was calm. Too calm. She looked at me and said words that would scar me forever. "You can't give me the life I want." I froze. For years I had worked overtime, saved every penny, skipped meals just to make sure we could survive. I thought love was enough. I thought my effort meant something. But to her, all of it was invisible. She told me she was leaving. Not because I mistreated her, not because I didn't love her, but because I was poor. In that moment I begged, not because I was weak, but because I couldn't imagine my life without her. I reminded her of the promises we made, the late-night talks, the dreams of building a future together. But she shook her head. She had already chosen someone else. A man with money. A man with cars, mansions, status. Everything I didn't have. And then she walked out, just like that. No tears, no hesitation. Just coldness. That night, I sat alone in our empty apartment. The silence was deafening. Her side of the bed was empty, and for the first time I realized love alone cannot hold a person who values wealth more than loyalty. But that night, also, became the turning point of my life. I decided I would not waste my pain crying. Instead, I would use it as fuel. I started working harder. I picked up every job I could find. I studied business late into the night. I read books, attended workshops, learned skills that could lift me out of poverty. I sold things door to door, stood in the heat, faced humiliation. But I kept going. Every insult, every moment of rejection, every memory of her betrayal added fire to my determination. While she was living in mansions, wearing expensive clothes, traveling the world with her rich man, I was sweating, bleeding, and hustling in silence. Years passed. My small efforts grew into something bigger. My small business turned into an empire. People who once laughed at me now respected me. I built a name, a reputation, and most importantly, I built myself. And then one evening, something happened that shook me. My doorbell rang. When I opened the door, I froze. It was her. The same woman who once walked out on me stood there again. But she was different now. Her makeup was smudged, her eyes were dull, and her face looked older, tired, broken. Her rich husband had left her. She had nothing. No house, no money, no love. Her voice cracked as she said, "Please, I made a mistake. Take me back." For a moment, I just stared at her. I remembered all the nights I cried, all the times I questioned myself, all the times I felt worthless because of her choice. And now, she stood there begging. I didn't feel anger. I didn't feel pity. I felt nothing. Absolutely nothing. I looked her in the eyes and said calmly, "You didn't make a mistake. You made a choice, and now you live with it." I closed the door. Slowly, firmly. And with it, I closed that chapter of my life forever. She had abandoned me when I was at my lowest. She had traded love for wealth, and when life turned its back on her, she came crawling back. But I wasn't the same man anymore. I had grown. I had built myself from the ashes she left me in. And I realized something powerful that day. Love can be betrayed. Trust can be broken. But self-respect must never be given away. Because when you lose self-respect, you lose everything. But the story doesn't end there. After she left, I often asked myself, Why wasn't I enough? Why wasn't my love enough to keep her by my side? And it took me years to understand the answer. It wasn't about me, it was about her. Some people can never see value beyond money. Some people measure relationships not in love, but in luxury. To such people, loyalty has a price tag, and love has an expiration date. The day she walked away, she proved that she was one of them. And the day she returned, she proved something else. She proved that karma is real. Life has a way of balancing itself. The same wealth she chose over me was the same wealth that destroyed her. The rich man she left me for, left her for another. The mansion she once flaunted became someone else's home. Meanwhile, I, the man she once laughed at, the man she once called poor, built an empire she could never touch again. That was karma's justice. That was life's answer. I share this story not to gloat, not to boast, but to remind anyone listening. If someone abandons you in your weakest moment, let them go. Don't chase, don't beg, don't break. Use that pain as fuel. Build yourself. Prove to yourself, not to them, that you are worth more than what they saw. Because one day when the tables turn, and they always do, you'll realize the sweetest revenge is not destroying them. The sweetest revenge is showing them that you never needed them to begin with. I never took her back, not because I hated her, but because I respected myself too much. And that, my friends, is the greatest lesson betrayal ever taught me.